Okay, so welcome back to your biology class. Now, today I will complete the female reproductive part. That means in my previous class I have started to discuss about the ovaries and about the different accessory parts, right? So now today I will start with the female external genitalia and the about the mammary gland. Okay, so first today's topic is human female reproductive system, and first I will discuss about the external genitalia of the female reproductive system. Now, what are the different parts of the female external genitalia? So, mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Okay, so the female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Okay, so as I have told you that if you see this type of view, so if you imagine that first one I will tell you about the mons pubis. It is a cushion like structure. Mons pubis is the cushion that means in body cushion like of structures can be formed by a fatty type of tissue, right? So mons pubis is a cushion of the fatty tissue covered by a skin and some pubic hairs will be present. Okay, so the portion which is a fatty layer is present, which is providing a cushion like covering. This part is considered as mons pubis. Now come to the labia majora and labia minora. So majora means you can understand that it is a major portion and minora means smaller portion. These are also considered as the lips, upper lip and lower lip. Okay, so the labia majora is a freshly folded tissue which extend down from the mons pubis. So if this portion, I consider this portion as the mons pubis, so this type of folds will come, major folds will come from that mons pubis part and it will extend down and it will surround that. So now if I consider, so this one is the anus and this one is the vaginal opening, so it will surrounds the vaginal opening. Okay, so I am repeating, the labia majora are freshly folded tissue which extend down from the mons pubis and it will surround the vaginal opening. And again a paired structures are present which are considered as labia minora, which are also folds of tissue which will found after the, and thus these folds are quite smaller than the labia majora, as their name suggests that the major folds are considered as labia majora and the smaller one are considered as labia minora. Okay, and next come to that, so this opening, if I consider this opening as the vagina, the opening of the vagina is covered by a structure which is considered as hymen. Okay, the opening of the vagina is covered by a structure which is considered as hymen, and this portion is considered as clitoris. This portion is considered as clitoris. So clitoris is a tiny finger like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia majora and above the urethral opening. Okay, so it will connect the joining of the labia majora, and so first this one is the anus, this one is the vaginal opening, this one is the urethral opening and this one is the clitoris. Okay, so I have kept some spaces because so that you can understand the different positions. So in case of male, as you know that they are having the same pathway for the passing of the urine and the sperm, but in case of female it is quite different. So their urinary system and the reproductive system is different. So you can see that the urethral opening and the hymen is in different position, and above this position a tiny finger like tissue structure is present, which at the junction of the two labia majora and above the urethral opening, which is considered as the clitoris. Okay. Now again come to, I have discussed all the parts which will come under the external genitalia, and I have shown to you in the diagram also, right. Now come to the hymen part. As I have mentioned that hymen is present at the opening of the vagina, and the hymen may often torn during the first coitus or intercourse. Okay. So the first time of sexual experience is considered as the coitus or first intercourse. It is the two alternative terms, but the meaning is same, that is the coitus and the sexual intercourse. Okay. So however, it can also be broken by a sudden fall or jolt, insertion of a vaginal tampon, active participation in some sports like horseback riding, cycling, etc. And in some women the hymen persists even after the coitus. Okay. In fact, the presence there is a myth like that the presence or hymen of the presence or absence of the hymen is will be defined as the virginity of a female. Okay. But nowadays we can understand that nowadays, previously they had the idea that if a woman is virgin, then she must have the hymen. But nowadays, after reading the proper science, we came to know that presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or the sexual intercourse, because without any sexual intercourse the hymen may be broken down, or even after the sexual intercourse hymen may be intact. The position of the hymen in different women is indifferent. Okay. So it may be broken down due to some fall or due to some many other reasons like cycling, horse backing. Okay. So these are the different reasons by which the hymen can be broken. Okay. So this is also Marjan, this is also one type of fault, okay, by which this hymen can be broken. Clear? So now these are the, and in my previous class I have discussed what is a vaginal tampon. Okay. So this is all about the female external genitalia. Now you have to know about the different parts of the mammary gland, which is also related with the female reproductive system. Now I will draw a diagram, then I will tell you all the parts. Okay, so now you can see that I have drawn a structure of a mammary gland. So now you have to know that from where milk can be produced and how this can be passed and what are the different parts of the mammary gland. Okay, so a functional mammary gland can be found in case of mammalian female. Okay, so a functional mammary gland is a characteristic of all mammal female, right? Now the mammary glands are paired structures which are generally considered as breast, and they contain some glandular tissue and a huge amount of fat. So you can see I have drawn the fats between these parts. So inside the mammary gland we will get the huge amount of fat. Okay, and the glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing cluster of cells called alveoli. Okay, so now first let me tell you this portion, the tip portion of the mammary gland is considered as nipple, and the area which is surrounded the nipple portion, which is quite in dark color, which is considered as areola. Okay, now come to the different glands. So come to the first. So this gland is considered as lacticiferous gland. The lacticiferous gland will there is a swollen like structure which is called as ampulla, and after that you will get the mammary duct, and they will join some balloon like structure which is called as mammary alveolus, and at the end generally it is considered as mammary lobes. Okay, so first let me come with the mammary lobe. Okay, so in the mammary gland you will get 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing cluster of cells called mammary alveoli. Okay, so already you have read that alveoli term in the human respiratory system, right? The alveolus are present in the lungs, which is helping in the exchange of gases, but in case of mammary glands some swollen or balloon like structures are present which are considered as mammary alveolus. Okay, so first come to this broader portion, that inside that mammary gland 15 to 20 mammary lobe will be found, and inside that mammary lobe you will get some balloon like swollen structure which is considered as mammary alveolus. So these structures are considered as mammary alveolus. These are the cluster of cells, and the cells of alveolus will secrete milk which will be stored in the cavities of the alveoli. Okay, so the milk will be secreted from the alveolus, and this milk will be stored in the lumen or the cavity of the alveoli, and the alveoli will open into a mammary tubule, the tubules will join into a structure which is considered as mammary duct. Okay, so the first milk will be produced inside the alveoli, and then through the lumen it will pass to the mammary tubule, and then it will join to the mammary alveolus. Clear? Now this mammary alveoli, the tubules of the mammary duct will join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is considered as this wider portion you can see. So this duct will join to this type of wider portion which is considered as mammary ampulla, and then it will be considered as lacticiferous duct, and milk will be released through the lacticiferous duct by when it will be sucked. Okay, so as you know that the production of the milk in case of human female or in case of mammalian female can be seen after the childbirth. Okay, that means there are some hormones which are considered as oxytocin and prolactin. You have read in the class 11, they are helping in the production of the, they will send a stimulus after the delivery of the baby. A stimulus will be sent to the pituitary gland, and from the pituitary those type of hormones will be released which will help in the production of the milk in the mammary gland. And I have told you that what are the different parts or the pathway. That means you can see that a huge amount of fats are present inside the mammary gland, and first mammary lobe, then mammary alveoli, milk will be produced inside the mammary alveoli, it will pass to the tubules, and then it will reach to the mammary duct, and then a swollen-like structure is present which is considered ampulla, and then it will be released through the lactiferous duct which will open into the opening in the nipple, and it will be released after sucking the nipple by the baby. Okay, the milk will be released. This is the pathway of the milk production in case of female mammary gland. Okay. So, with that I am completing the human female reproductive system. So, today I will not start the gametogenesis part because as you know that it is a huge process, and if I start it today I will not be able to complete it. So, I will start the gametogenesis in my next class. Yes, what is the need of? Because it will help in the protection of these soft and delicate parts. Okay. Help in the protection of these parts. So, and as you know that what is the need of the milk, because it will help in the development of the baby. Okay, so for today that's it. If you are having any doubt related with this part, you can ask me. These are the part. This is a part of the female reproductive system. Okay, so for that, if you are having any guidance book, please check it, because you will get better idea for the structure. Because if I say by mouth, you will not be able to understand, or wait, I will show you the part which is considered as. Okay, then you will get a clear idea. As today I am not having, that is why I will not be able to see you. And there are different many other parts like manubrium, peritoneum, mesotherium. Okay, so these are the different parts that can be related with the female reproductive system also, which are not in your NCERT part. That's why I didn't mention all these parts, because it will but after completing the syllabus, if I get time, then I will discuss slowly. Okay, but there will be no need for reading the parts which are not here in your NCERT, because in your board exam all the questions will be asked from the particularly from the in your NCERT book. Okay, but if I can remember in my next class, I will show you the part. Clear? Anything else? Okay, so for today that's it. Thank you and bye bye everyone.